in high definition. This is Western New York's news leader. Now, News 4 at 10.
We are following several big stories for you at 10 tonight. Our weather team is very busy tracking a flood warning, record rainfall. We are also keeping a close eye on the rising water levels on Lake Ontario. We have team coverage and a live report ahead. We are also following big Sabres and Bills news tonight. Changes were, of course, made at the top of the organization, and the Bills released their 2017 schedule, plus the latest on the terror attack in Paris. Good evening, everybody. We begin with that forewarned weather forecast. There is that state of emergency at the Lake Ontario shoreline and in Orleans County. Rachel Monjovi is there. She's going to have a live report in just a minute. But first, I want to check in with forewarned meteorologist Andrew Baglini, who's tracking this flood warning where we know several streets are flooded tonight, Andrew. I know we've been receiving reports of that. You can check my Twitter page. I've been retweeting those warnings. But tell us, what are you concerned about tonight?
Well, now it's really the flooding potential. Earlier, it was the potential for severe weather. We saw some very strong thunderstorms rolling through, lots of lightning, thunder, torrential downpours, and south into Pennsylvania actually had a report of a tornado on the ground. We'll get to that in a minute. Right now, the big concern, though, is for that flooding. A flood warning is active until midnight tonight for a good chunk of central Erie County, northwestern Wyoming, and southwestern Genesee counties, again going out until midnight. And that's for flooding we've been seeing in poor drainage areas, low-lying areas, reports of basements being flooded as well. I'm keeping a close eye on the local creek gauges right now. Every creek below flood stage not running over its banks and forecasted to stay under its banks, but some of them are coming awfully close. So again, something we're watching very, very closely. Well, a lot of that activity is moving off to the east and things quieting down around the metro. We still have more rain across the southern tier, but it wasn't quite as soggy there earlier in the day, so not quite a concern for flooding down in the southern tier at the moment. Here's a look at rainfall totals, actually waiting for the more updated numbers to come in. Buffalo at the airport, 1.95 inches. That's a new record for today, and that breaks a record from 1893. So just incredible amounts of rain falling, and that's why we've been seeing some flooding. Here's a picture, Joshua sending this to us, of a flooded overpass, and an SUV that tried to drive through got stuck and has to be towed out. So it's a big reminder, especially in those poor drainage areas, do not try to drive through flooded waters. Now, I mentioned earlier we had some severe weather down into Pennsylvania in Warren County, a report of a tornado on the ground that did actually prompt a tornado warning and then eventually a severe thunderstorm warning into McKean County. All of that now long gone. Hour-by-hour forecast keeps that rain moving off to the east, things quieting down significantly by that Friday morning commute. Coming up in my full forewarned forecast, we'll talk about the weekend ahead.
Andrew, thank you. And a quick traffic alert for you. Flooding has caused a portion of the 90 East to close. Right now, exit 57 Hamburg is down to just one lane. Also, Griner Road is closed between Shimmerville Road and Thompson Road in the town of Clarence. Also, Transit Road is closed in both directions between Broadway and Walden. We will continue to track all of the road closures. There are several others. I've been retweeting those alerts on my Twitter page. And as we just told you, the Lake Ontario shoreline is under a state of emergency. Niagara County officials are preparing for water levels to continue rising this weekend. Those high waters could lead to possible evacuations for people living nearby. News 4's Rachel Monjovi continues our live team coverage. She joins us live from the Olcott Fire Department with more on the preparations. Rachel?
Yeah, Nelina, that state of emergency will be in effect for quite some time. People living here in Olcott say that they are bracing for the worst. Now, behind me here is this piece of machinery that will actually be used to help bag the sand. That will be the county's biggest defense as far as preventing the lake from flooding the area. Officials told me they have 30,000 sandbags in Olcott, and another 30,000 is expected over the next few days. They will be doing a sandbag fill on the lower areas of the shoreline. Right now, the water level is a foot above average. Officials expect an additional 12 inches on top of that. I'm told with more severe weather on the way, officials anticipate the lake to crest on May 14th. Residents are obviously concerned about flooding, especially waterfront homeowners. Erosion is also a huge concern. We heard one resident lost about 10 feet of his property today. That is, of course, very dangerous, and no one knows when that sort of thing is going to happen. So officials are urging residents to keep an eye on their property as well as the water levels.
we've never had damage like this since we've lived here. So, I mean, you know, and where's it going to stop? In the middle of May, they say that the water level is going up another 11 inches. So, I mean, where's that going to put it at?
It's the highest and most destructive water that I've ever seen. You can see, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Wait till the wind comes up another 20 miles an hour.
People living in this area tell us they haven't seen Lake Ontario water levels this high in more than 40 years. Officials declared the state of emergency as a precautionary measure, but no one really knows if and when things are going to turn for the worse. The sheriff's office tells me that people may have to evacuate as early as this weekend, but that all depends on the weather and how worse the conditions get. So people are asking residents, or officials are asking residents to be prepared to leave if conditions worsen. For now, reporting live in Alcott tonight, Rachel Monjovi, News 4 at 10.
Rachel, thank you. We will have another live update from Rachel at 10:30, and Andrew's full forecast is coming up in about 15 minutes. Remember, you can always get the latest alerts on our app, our weather app. It's free for your phone or tablet, and also our website, WIVB.com. We are also following developing news from the Sabres tonight. The Buffalo Sabres owners Terry and Kim Pegula are cleaning house. General manager Tim Murray and head coach Dan Bilesma have both been fired. Now, this shakeup comes just 11 days after the season ended, the Sabres finishing last in the Atlantic Division. News 4 Sports' Shannon Shepard joins me live now with more on this change. Shannon?
Well, Nalina, to say this news came as a shock would be an understatement. Seeing the head coach and the general manager fired 2 months before the NHL draft, we knew there was a disconnect in the Sabres locker room between the players and Dan Bilesma, but seeing Tim Murray get a pink slip was not something we expected. In the past 10 days, the Sabres held locker cleanout in the end of season presser for Bilesma and Murray. Both admitted there was no doubt disappointment from not making the playoffs. The next step was to hold player evaluations and meetings, and then to meet with ownership. Murray compiled his exit interviews and met with the Pegulas yesterday here in Buffalo, and it doesn't seem like that meeting lasted very long. Bilesma had been with the team for 2 seasons and Murray for 3.
I just want everybody to know that top to bottom in the organization, we understand it was a very disappointing season. I'm the general manager of the team, so I guess that's top of the food chain when it comes to hockey. So I stand here and take full responsibility for our position, our standings, and how it finished.
The Pegulas did release a statement when the news broke. They said they wish both of them luck, and the search for a new coach begins immediately. And if that isn't enough, the Bills' schedule for the upcoming season was released tonight. Buffalo will begin the year by hosting the Jets at New Era Field. They will also play the division rival in a primetime game on the road Thursday, November 2nd. They play the Patriots and Dolphins each 2 times in the month of December. The full schedule is up on WIVB.com. In the studio, Shannon Shepard, News 4 Sports.
Shannon, thank you. Now to the latest on a bizarre incident involving a Bills player in Elma off the 400. The Erie County Sheriff's Office says they found Bills offensive tackle Cyrus Quanjo on Wednesday morning in a field without pants on. The Erie County Sheriff's deputies say someone called 911 after spotting him yesterday morning. His car was nearby. Authorities took Quanjo to ECMC for evaluation, treatment, and observation. The Bills say they are aware of this incident and are still gathering information about what happened. And around the world, ISIS is claiming responsibility for the deadly attack on police in an iconic Paris shopping district. One officer was killed, another seriously wounded before the gunman was shot and killed by police. Police say a man with an automatic weapon got out of a car, shooting the 2 officers and a tourist. President Donald Trump expressed his condolences during a press conference at the White House today.
But it looks like another terrorist attack. And what can you say? It just never ends. We have to be strong and we have to be vigilant, and I've been saying it for a long time.
Paris police say the attacker was flagged as an extremist. The shooting comes just 3 days before the first round of voting for France's presidential election. Still to come at 10, the sentence a Niagara Falls man is facing for attacking a News 4 crew.